Thank you, Crystal. And just following up with the previous speaker, now I am feeling nervous, a little anxious, but I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. So as Crystal mentioned, my name is Kendra Ricenbaw, and I'm the Senior Vice President of Operations here at Western Union. And I really want to take a minute, I know you've been here all morning, but to welcome you to our brand new facility here in Denver, Colorado. We're very proud and excited to be in our new building, and it allows us to have events like this. So we're very excited to welcome you all here today. Prior to being in operations, I am a CPA by trade, an accountant, and spent 6 years at Ernst & Young, and then I've been with the company for 14 years. And although I've only been with 2 companies, I've had the opportunity to be in a lot of different roles and have a lot of different experiences, and I was more than happy to come and share with you today some of my insights. And I have to be honest, some of the insights and stories I'm going to share are not terribly flattering. They're things I wish I would have done differently, but hopefully things that I've learned from and some great experiences that I've had. So the first thing, first insight I would like to share is no one cares more about your career than you do, okay? That's not to say that no one cares about your career. It's just that no one cares more than you do. And trust me, no one spends more time thinking about it than you do. Earlier on in my career, I was very certain that if I just worked really, really hard and I got the results, that I would be rewarded and that those rewards would be presented to me in new opportunities. And for a while that definitely happened. And I certainly did have some opportunities from my results. But as I started to want bigger and better things, as I wanted to be promoted to a director or to a vice president, as I wanted to go work in different locations of Western Union around the world, it became very clear to me that just doing a good job and putting my head down was not going to get the job done. So it was very, very important that I came forward with my wishes and my desires about what I wanted to be when I grew up. Now, there's a double-edged sword to telling people what you want, right? You tell them what you want, and typically they'll tell you what you need to do to get what you want. And so the second part is critically important because it's not just about what you want, it's about what you need to do to get there. What are the skills that you need to develop? Some of it's opportunity and timing. For me, in those early roles, I wasn't very good at giving feedback. I was really bad at giving bad feedback to underperforming employees. And I was told on a number of occasions that I needed to improve that, either to coach them up or to help them find other opportunities. And I really had to work on that. I wasn't doing it timely enough, I wasn't doing it consistently enough, and I wasn't going to go anywhere until I improved that. And so I really worked hard on that, and I think working on that and being able to demonstrate that I had made some improvement really helped me going forward. So that's insight number one. No one cares more than you do about your career. The second one is technical skills will only get you so far. There has to be a lot of leadership involved. And the way that I learned this, again, through trial and error, was I had a series of very technical jobs earlier on in my career. I started as an auditor, very technical. Then I was a product controller, an accountant, very technical. And then I became the most technical thing of all, is I was a financial reporting specialist. I led a financial reporting team. And all I did, all day long, was find mistakes. I'd find mistakes in schedules that were sent to me, I'd find mistakes in paragraphs that were written, I'd find all the mistakes. And I found them, and I found them, and I found them. And what ended up is I had a very burned out person, me, and I had a very disengaged team, because it wasn't fun for any of us. And instead of finding everybody's mistakes, I really should have been focused on coaching them up. Was I clear on the expectations? Did they have the skills they needed to find the mistakes themselves? Was I creating an engaging environment? Was I making work fun? If I would have been more focused on that, I certainly wouldn't have been as burned out, and we would have had a much more engaged team. And really what it took for me, it wasn't getting a promotion, it wasn't getting a step level change like that. It was really having to go work on a team that was huge. I went from having a team of 10 people where I could find everybody's mistakes to working with a team of 100 people where you can't possibly find everybody's mistakes. And what I found out is I don't like finding everybody's mistakes. It's really boring. It's really not rewarding, and it's certainly not rewarding for the people that work for you. And so we got very good at working together, communicating, set clear expectations, communicating on how I could help them solve problems instead of just solving all the problems myself. So my main takeaway from this one is yes, I was good at being a financial reporting specialist, but I wasn't a good leader. And it wasn't until I had that new experience where I couldn't correct everything and couldn't micromanage everything that it really allowed me the space that I needed with my personality to become a much better leader. So technical skills will only get you so far. Leadership is really important if you want to continue to progress. The third thing, and the thing I probably feel the most passionate about, is taking risks. So I grew up in a very, very small town in the middle of Nebraska, population 130 people. And, you know, I always knew that there was more to the world than the three-sided field that surrounded my house. And I wanted to see it. And that progressed with me through college when I moved away and moved to a different cornfield in the middle of Illinois. And then I had an opportunity to move to Denver. And I really wanted to go out and see the world and have different experiences. I told you I've only been with 2 companies, but within those companies I've done a lot of different things. When I was with Ernst & Young, my husband and I had an opportunity to live in the Netherlands and take a risk and participate in a global exchange program. And then we also had an opportunity when I came to Western Union. I talked to you earlier about wanting to, or saying what you want, right? Expressing what your desires are in your career. So once I got to Western Union, a couple years after getting settled in, maybe 3 or 4, I noticed that one of my sponsors actually was promoted and moved to London. And I thought, wow, that would be amazing. We had offices in London, Dublin, Vienna. I spoke a little German back in high school, English in Dublin and London. Like, this would be amazing. I really want to start speaking up about going on an international assignment. So I talked to them for a couple of years, because obviously it's also about timing for the opportunities for you. And one day I was called into my boss's office, and he called me in and he said, "Kendra, shut the door." So I shut the door, and he said, "I want to talk to you about something. We're going to be setting up a new site, and that new site is in Lithuania. And we wanted to know if you would be interested in applying to run the accounting function in Lithuania." And I sat there for a minute, remembering all these conversations. I really want to move abroad. I really want to move abroad. And sat there and I said, I'm embarrassed to say this, but I'm not even really sure where Lithuania is. So he said, well, let's take a look. So we got on. And while we're doing this, I'm thinking, how am I going to say no? How am I going to say no? How am I going to say no? Because immediately, I can't move my family to Lithuania. I've got 2 kids, they're 5 and 2. I can't lead this many people. The biggest team I've ever led had 12 people. I don't even know anything about Lithuania. What if I fail? I don't know anything about this business. It was all, I can't, and I don't. And I'm sure there's someone better than me. And then another fear started to take over. And that fear was not trying. That fear was knowing if I said no, if I didn't even try, the chances of me getting another opportunity like this were not high. They were very, very low. So I went home and I talked to my husband. I'm like, you're never going to guess what happens. And I told him and I laughed. I'm like, yeah, like that's going to happen. And I have to be very honest. I have an incredibly supportive husband. And he said, we should talk about this. We should think about it. We should at least go check it out. And he's always, let's go check it out. Let's go check it out. So we went and checked it out. And it was quite an experience. Many of my my Western Union colleagues have been to Lithuania. And it is, when I arrived, it was right after the financial crisis. And things weren't great. Things were not great. A lot of businesses were shut down. They implemented a lot of austerity measures, which means pull yourself up by your bootstraps and really find your way through. It was not great. And we landed, and I'm like, what am I thinking? I have this wonderful life in Denver. What am I thinking, dragging my 5-year-old and my 2-year-old halfway around the world? And by the end of the first day, I said to my husband, are you ready? And he said, yeah, let's do it. And so the story here is, there were no guarantees with this thing for me. There were no guarantees I could do it. There were no guarantees I would have a job or a job I would like when I would come back to the U.S. For anyone that's been an expat, it's a bit of a risky business. There were no guarantees my family would be happy and we would be okay over there. But again, I was more scared of not trying than I was of trying and failing. So if I can leave anything with you, because taking risk is probably the thing I'm most passionate about, is it's okay to be afraid. It's okay to think you can't. But the very next thought needs to be, but I need to try. Because I'm always more scared of not trying than trying and failing. And in fact, the only way I know that I can fail, and I'm guaranteed to fail, is if I don't try. The next one I would like to leave you with is it's really important to have a network of sponsors and mentors. And I think early on in my career I didn't get this at all. And I thought, again, hard work would just pay off and everything would be great. And I realized I really needed feedback, not just from my boss, but from those around me. And I needed people that believed in me, and those were sponsors. And I have to be honest, men and women have been really important, both, in sponsoring and mentoring me. I probably had more men as sponsors, probably because I've had more male bosses, and I've had more women as mentors. And I have to say the women that have been in my mentoring circle, especially over the last 5 years, have been invaluable to me. They've been the ones who have told me that I could when I thought I couldn't. They've been the ones to give me really honest feedback at a board presentation or an executive team presentation. And they've also told me to get over my stuff when I was getting in my own way. She used a different word. I don't know. But it's been very, very honest. And it's been very, very important to my growth. And honestly, the older I've gotten, those close relationships with women have become even more critical to me. And I feel very fortunate at Western Union. We now have 3 executive team members, top team members, that are women. So roughly about a third of our top team are women. And these women are some inspirational leaders with very different styles. But they really do, and I'm really proud to say this about Western Union, there's a very strong support network for women. And they really do help coach us and lift us up, support us, both saying we've done a great job and telling us when we haven't, but also helping us through the way. So I really think those networks are very, very important. And then the last thing, and the previous speaker mentioned this at the end, no one has all this figured out. I remember being 28, first year at Western Union, and there was this woman who was a vice president of finance. And she had it all together. She had the look and the hair, and I knew she had 3 kids, super smart, nice, really well respected, and I would go and talk to her. And she became a mentor for me. And I wanted to figure out how she had it all figured out. Because this woman had everything, right? She was married, she had these kids, she had this amazing job, she had lived overseas. And I'm like, this woman has it all figured out. And I went and talked to her. And I'm like, how do you do it? How do you do it all? And she just laughed. She's like, you can't do it all. This works, this breaks. Sometimes I'm a crappy mom, sometimes I'm a great mom, sometimes I'm a crappy employee. You know, every day is different. Sometimes we feel like the mother of the year. Sometimes we miss a basketball game, we miss a parent-teacher conference. Sometimes I'm the best wife in the world. Other days, not so much. And other times we're amazing employees. And other times we have to focus on someone else. And I didn't realize all this until younger women started coming to me and saying, wow, you've achieved so much. How have you done this all? And I laughed because it was the same thing. We may look one way on the outside. We may have our stuff together some days, and other days we don't. And that's okay. And that's how it is, and that's how it goes. When we put too much pressure on ourselves, we're not good for anybody, including ourselves. So that's something that I've really valued, those conversations where I've gone to a woman saying, oh my God, you got it all figured out, and they laugh and they tell us the truth. And telling the truth to the women that come behind us, I think is the most important thing. So I know I stand between you and lunch, and that's a very important thing. So I appreciate your attention for a few moments. I hope you've had a wonderful morning and a great rest of your day. So thank you.